Do you want to quit smoking, but you're afraid that you're going to gain weight if you do? It's a pretty common concern because a lot of people do gain weight when they quit smoking. But you don't have to gain weight when you quit smoking, as long as you're prepared for it. And one of the big things that you have to be ready for if you want to avoid gaining weight when you quit smoking is the smoking your food, eating your cigarettes trap. And what is the smoking your food, eating your cigarettes trap? I'll tell you all about it in just a minute. Hi, my name is Kevin Foster. I smoked my first cigarette at 10. I was hooked by the time I was 15. I quit smoking for the first time when I was 20, but I relapsed pretty quickly, and I spent the next 25 years quitting and relapsing until finally I was diagnosed with an advanced case of emphysema. That was my wake-up call, and it drove me to figure out how to quit and stay quit for good. That was in November of 2001. And I'm still smoke-free. And since then, I've helped hundreds of other people quit and stay quit for good. So what is the smoking your food, eating your cigarettes trap? Well, when we smoke, the nicotine stimulates the release of dopamine in our brain. Now, dopamine is the feel-good hormone. Eating also stimulates the release of dopamine. And this is one of the reasons why nicotine is such an effective appetite suppressant. The dopamine release we get from smoking very closely mimics the dopamine release we get from eating. Over time, this connection gets established so strongly that we're just as likely to reach for a cigarette as a sandwich when we're hungry. And this is partly because our brain is confusing hunger with nicotine withdrawal. This is the smoking your food part of the trap. You smoke in response to being hungry. After we quit smoking, our brains frequently make the opposite mistake. They confuse nicotine withdrawal with hunger. Now we're just as likely to reach for a snack as for a cigarette when we're really having nicotine withdrawal. And this is the eating your cigarettes part of the trap. We eat in response to nicotine withdrawal. So you see how this works. The whole time you're smoking, you're setting up the smoking your food part of the trap, and then when you quit, the eating your cigarettes part of the trap gets sprung. The problem is that neither one of these behaviors actually works. Smoking is no substitute for eating when we're smokers, and eating is no substitute for smoking once we quit. So how do you avoid the trap? One very effective way to avoid it is to use a smoking and eating journal that you should start while you're preparing to quit. Here's how. Get a small notebook and carry it with you wherever you go. Every day, open it up and you have 2 facing pages. Jot the date at the top and label one page smoking and the other page eating. Then, every time you smoke, write down the time, whether you were just smoking, or you really wanted one, or you really needed one. You can use a dot for just smoking, a check mark for really wanted one, and a bang for really needed one. Also, note whether your general mood at the time was good, bad, or meh. You can use a smiley face for good, a frowny face for bad, and a kind of neutral face for meh. Every time you eat, write down the time on the eating page, what you ate, whether you were just eating, or whether you were kind of hungry, or whether you were starving. Again, just use a dot for just eating, a check mark for kind of hungry, and a bang for starving. Also, note whether your general mood at the time is good, bad, or meh. Use the same symbols as you did for smoking. Track your smoking and eating like this for at least a week before you quit. Better yet, track it for 3 weeks or more before you quit, so you have a good set of data to work with once you do quit. Once you quit, whenever you feel like eating, take a minute to notice the time of day and what your general mood is. And then look in your journal. If you find a regular pattern of eating around this time of day, or eating when you're in this kind of mood, then it's probably okay to eat something right now. On the other hand, if you find a regular pattern of smoking around this time of day, or when you're feeling in this kind of mood, then it's probably not a good idea to eat right now. Have a glass of water instead. It's good for you, and it'll make you feel full for a minute or two, or at least long enough to get past the phony hunger pangs you're having. This strategy works really well for avoiding the weight gain that people tend to see when they quit smoking. And unless you were already overeating as a smoker, if you follow this strategy, you shouldn't gain any weight at all after you quit. In fact, you may find that you actually lose weight after you quit smoking, because you're being much more mindful about what you're eating, when, and why. On the other hand, if you were already overeating as a smoker and you continue to follow that pattern, this strategy probably isn't going to help you very much. If that's the case, or you didn't keep a smoking and eating journal before you quit, another strategy is, whenever you feel like eating, stop for a minute and make sure that you're really hungry. One way to determine whether you're really hungry is to pick a food you really don't like and ask yourself if you would eat that. For instance, let's say that you hate broccoli. Ask yourself, am I hungry enough to eat broccoli? If not, you're probably not really hungry. Go grab a glass of water. Please leave a comment below if you have any questions. And if you found this video useful, why not give it a like and consider subscribing? I'll be back next week. Hope to see you then.